Hi guys, we're gonna make some basic sanding sticks today. These are the little miniature cutie patooties. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so these guys are 6 inches long. So I want a 5-inch surface area where I can sand. So I'm gonna measure it out on my self-healing mat. And I'm going to cut the back of the sandpaper rather than the front. I feel like there's less resistance. Use a nice sharp X-Acto. You can use scissors, but the cut isn't as straight and you ruin your scissors. At least with X-Actos, they're kind of meant to be disposed of. Okay, so basically the popsicle stick or tongue depressor, whatever you want to craft stick, call it, is going to act as a hard, sturdy surface in order for you to have support on your sandpaper. So when you're sanding your object, you've got, a lot of support that doesn't have to be provided by your hands. So I'm going to take this popsicle stick and I'm going to line it up at the very end on this side. And then I'm going to take my dull X-Acto that I've been using for this very job, and I'm going to flip it over on its back, and I'm going to run it over using the popsicle stick as a guide. All right, so I'm just basically scoring the sandpaper so it folds really nicely. This is one of my favorite tools after I make it. It's so easy to make, but for some reason I dread making it, and then after I make it I think, wow, that was so easy. So silly. So as you can see, it's got that beautiful little fold. Just line it up. Now the reason we use one crappy X-Acto blade is because it ruins your X-Acto blade. And so I'm just gonna keep running it over. You can also use, what are they called? The needle tools. That's the one that I actually use in my personal studio, just because it's got a nice handle and it's got a thick, sharp needle head. They use it in ceramics, and it's like my favorite. I always have it on me for this very particular job, and it works great. But this works really well too. I just don't have a bunch of X-Acto handles lying around all the time, so. All right, and that's it. So this rolled a little crooked, which is totally fine. It's got a bit of a flange there that I want to remove. I don't want that sticking out. Just gonna freehand it. And there you go. Look at that. So fast, so easy. And then I'm gonna take my orange tape. Cut off a piece It can be any tape, masking tape. I wouldn't use Scotch tape because that stuff tends to shred. So if you've got blue tape and not orange tape, use that. Whichever, or that classic beige tape. I've seen some people just roll it on. It tends to be really messy. You don't get these sharp corners, which are great for just detail parts. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna mark it so I don't forget what grid it is. It's nice and clear. And now I've got a whole collection of sanding sticks. Also, if you want to make larger sanding sticks, these are my preferred tool. You can buy them at Home Depot. They're 10 for $1, and they are big enough for one entire sheet of sandpaper. You make them exactly the same way as these little minis, and they're just a great tool. There's just a lot of surface area that it has, and it kind of makes everything easier. And when you have it and you are all done with one sheet, because it's all worn down, you just rip it right off. This goes for both these big sticks and the little sticks. But really, such an awesome tool. This is a great example of how not to make a sanding stick. It works, it totally works, but you can see it's super just puffy. You can see that there are no scored lines, so you're getting these soft edges. Now, if you want soft edges, I would recommend using a dowel and wrapping it really nice and tight. But because it's so loose, it kind of just moves around. There are times when this is something that you want, but generally it isn't. So I wouldn't recommend rolling it like this. I would really stick to the tight scoring so you get that nice crisp edge.